Good morning and welcome to Renewal Village. Hi. Thank you. I'm Britta Fisher. I am the president and CEO of the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here today to Renewal Village. Thank you. I also want to say thank you right off the bat to the dozens of staff and volunteers who've worked for months and even the past couple of years for some on this project, from program management to transitional housing to the on-site team that's overseeing this impressive rehab of this first floor, looking so beautiful. The Colorado Coalition continues to innovate. After taking one hotel and quickly converting it into housing, we purchased this much larger hotel to convert. And this model is still much faster than new development, actually about half the time, a couple of years faster. So in our effort to combat increased homelessness in this, the 8th least affordable state in the country, we can and we must do more to innovate and speed this path for housing in our community. Where we stand today was formerly the Clarion Inn. It made for an ideal acquisition due to the extensive first floor area here, which is great for community space. And there's a few reasons why. While we appreciate that a door that closes is ideal for stable housing, many individuals who've experienced long-term homelessness are used to the support communities that they have built on the streets or in shelters. We have spaces added here, not just for the necessities of life, like this cafe, the laundry, the computer lab, but also for spaces to connect as humans and have the healing connection of that human connection. Second, we also want to have sufficient on-site space for our staff. Part of supportive housing is the delivery of those life-saving services. And the former ballroom, which I know some people here have been to this hotel for trainings, it is changed. It is now our case management area. And that's where we deliver trauma-informed, person-centered, comprehensive, intensive, and clinical-based assistance. While each client determines their own priorities, in general, case managers connect residents with health, with mental health, and substance use treatment, linkage to mainstream services, and so much more. This property will house 215 clients at any given time through 134 permanent supportive housing units and the remainder as transitional units, including units designated for veterans. Thank you. And best of all, residents will be moving in here in just a few weeks.
Goodbye.
The Coalition is proud of the work that we've done to turn this former hotel into permanent space for housing, and we could not have done it without our partners. One of the first things that I have loved in my whole career is meeting the smart, dedicated people who want to work on our community's toughest challenges and who dedicate themselves to addressing them. So we've invited several to give a few remarks, and I'll introduce each speaker today. So today, let's start with a partner and funder who identified Renewal Village to receive the local allocation of Home American Rescue Plan program funding to support both those non-congregate shelter units and the supportive housing. An additional infusion of $3 million allowed the entire property to be converted to studio apartments. This is key so that we could do the construction once, even as we were able to get more subsidy to convert more to supportive housing. And we also had the Department of Housing Stability, the whole entire community, and the entire city and county of Denver support us with $14 million. So with that, please thank and welcome our 46th mayor of Denver, Mike Johnston.
Thank you all so much for being here. Really excited to get to be a part of today's effort. I think today is an incredible example of what is possible in Denver and across the state when we have real collaboration from all of our amazing partners. Obviously, today will be an incredibly important groundbreaking at 215 units that provide people access to the affordable housing they need with the supportive services that they want to be able to get here. And this was only possible because of the kind of partnership that we were able to build, thanks to the leadership of the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless, who does such incredible work here. But what you'll see that's unique about today, and hopefully the commissioner will talk about this is one key step in us looking at this as a regional problem that requires a regional solution. And so this is, I think, a new partnership where we partnered together with Adams County, incredible support from Allison and her team at the state for state vouchers, and of course the federal support of the ARPA funds. Thank you, Dominique. That would not have been possible without the Biden-Harris administration. Those dollars plus those partners and those vouchers are what make what can be a very complicated project suddenly an incredible success. And so we view this as exactly the kind of opportunities we want to see the city do more and more of. These are the very reasons why we're pursuing this Affordable Denver Fund on the ballot this November. I think it's a chance to support more efforts like this that provide long-term permanent housing with the supportive services people need to make sure they can find a forever home and get back on their feet. And so I just want to thank all the partners who made this possible. Hopefully when you walk around the building today, you will feel a sense of inspiration. You'll feel something that the way people will feel when they walk in here for the first time, which is when you've traveled a very hard road, you've been on the street or unhoused or been on friends' couches or not sure you'd ever find your way back to your own unit with your own key and your own space. This offers that new hope again, that sense of renewal. We think this sense of renewal we've brought to this one site is a sense of renewal we can bring to communities all across the city with your support. So thank you all so much for being here, and huge congratulations to Britta and her team at CCH for making this incredible success possible.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Our next speaker is a longtime champion of CCH and affordable housing. And she's done something pretty remarkable, which is get things done in Congress. And she has brought home to Denver congressionally directed spending to support affordable housing and address homelessness. So thank you very much for working with your congressional colleagues to secure $4 million in community project funding for this project. Please join me in thanking and welcoming Congresswoman Diana DeGette.
Thank you so much. I just love having a job where someone says you're getting things done and everyone starts laughing. There's that. But I've been really pleased and honored to work with the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless, even since before I was in Congress. And so a few years ago, when we started up congressionally directed spending again, formerly known as earmarks, I decided that it would be really, I was looking at what are the most critical problems that we're facing in my congressional district, which is the city and county of Denver. And of course, homelessness was the top issue. I knew this from before, but it's only gotten worse and worse over the years. And so I started then every year working with close allies like the city of Denver and the Coalition for the Homeless and other allies to see how I could augment this funding. And I'm so proud. Whenever and Britta, we've stood at quite a number of openings now, and whenever I do that, my heart swells because I know that's what 215 people or families that are now going to have a place to call home. But not just that. And this is the important thing. They'll have a place to call home, and they'll have the supportive services that they need to be able to achieve more and more for themselves and their families. Not only that, though, I don't know if we realize how lucky we are in this area to have a coalition, not just the private groups like the Coalition for the Homeless, but the city and county of Denver with Mayor Johnston and his initiative, and the tax provision is just the latest in a broad initiative that the city has to address this, and then our friends at a regional level in Adams County and all around the region. This does not happen everywhere in the country, my friends, where you have a federal, state, and local coalition to address a very real issue that works. And so I'm very proud to see that this project is opening up. I'm also, though, committed to continuing to help with this because last year State of Homelessness report by the coalition shows that thousands of Coloradoans are still experiencing homelessness, including thousands of families. And so this is a problem that we have to continue every day in every way to think about solutions. As I often tell people about homelessness, if this was an easy problem to fix, we would have fixed it by now. It takes continuing effort over many, many years. And so with this particular $4 million, I worked closely with Senators Bennett and Hickenlooper to secure the funding for the project. We're going to have 107 units of transitional housing, 108 units of permanent supportive housing here, right here in Globeville, Elyria, Swansea, where the need is so great. And I'm really excited also about Renewal Village because the coalition's partners not just with the city, not just with Congress, but also with the Department of Veterans Affairs. Thanks to this partnership, 74 of the units will be reserved for veterans recovering from homelessness, and you can clap for that. I see this every day. Our men and women in uniform have made incredible sacrifices for our nation for their services, and the partnership will help us live up to the promise we made to help take care of them like they took care of us when they return home. And so I'm just so happy to see how this project has come together with our partnership, and I'm so excited to see what it's going to do as we continue to build our program to eliminate homelessness in Denver and in the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. Our next speaker knows the importance of both lived and professional expertise in designing and delivering affordable housing. We thank her and her team for facilitating the Congressional Community Project funding through the HUD Economic Development Initiative program. Please thank and welcome Regional Administrator for the Rocky Mountain Region of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, Dominique Jackson.
Hey, everybody. How are you all today? Good. We have a lot to celebrate. Thanks, Britta. And thanks to CCH for welcoming me here today. I, of course, want to acknowledge Mayor Johnston. So much to be here. And Congresswoman DeGette and other dedicated state and local leaders who share the federal government's commitment to addressing the homelessness crisis. I am, of course, Dominique Jackson. I'm the Regional Administrator for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's Rocky Mountain Region. I oversee all of HUD's programs in the great state of Colorado. Also Utah, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, and 29 federally recognized tribes. As a representative of HUD's acting secretary, Adrian Todman, and the Biden-Harris administration, it is important to share our collective goal, and that is to do everything in our power to make sure that every single one of our neighbors here in Denver and across the region gets an opportunity to live their best lives. HUD's strategy to achieve this is clear: to continue to build the economy from the bottom up and the middle out, by providing critical, targeted investments in affordable housing. That means we are doing everything in our power to make it cheaper to rent and to buy. And of course, the more people that own a home, the more people who have an opportunity to build intergenerational wealth. We are also helping to develop innovative housing that promotes health and is climate and disaster resilient. Plus, we are fighting harder and smarter to end homelessness. Yeah, give it up. Of course, to do this, we must be highly collaborative, work across governments and sectors, and we must make sure the process is economically responsible, environmentally sound, fair, and equitable. You are witnessing, as everybody who has come before me, the evidence of that collaboration. CCH is one of our strongest and most active partners in the fight to get people off of the street. Doing so means an opportunity to restore, to reinvigorate, to reaffirm lives, to restore, to reinvigorate, to reaffirm, all synonyms for renewal. Renewal Village was made possible, as you've heard, via the CDS funds from our congressional delegation. Congresswoman DeGette, who is absolutely incredible, Senators Bennett and Hickenlooper. HUD gratefully administers these dollars. We also, Home ARP dollars are also involved in this project, which are federal funds funneled to the state. I am confident that the millions that CCH received will go a long way towards providing the kind of housing and supportive services that changes lives and improves outcomes. Thanks to each and every single one of you for being our partners. We cannot do this work alone. It does not happen in a vacuum. I recognize numerous faces in this room from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, and thank you.
And thank you. I am so pleased as a former state housing board member by the way our state has grown our amount of affordable housing investments. The State Division of Housing contributed $10 million to the acquisition of this property, contributed some of the initial supportive services funding, and a large allocation of vouchers that have helped us make the vast majority of the units in this project permanent supportive housing. Please join me in thanking and welcoming someone who is both personally and professionally dedicated to affordable housing in our community, the Director of Colorado's Division of Housing, Allison George.
Thank you, Britta. I'm reminded of support. How critical is support in all of our lives? Think of a moment in your life, because of support, that direction changed. I'm personally in that moment right now with my son. Looking for housing. Who knew? Yes, we all have these issues. In fact, I'm really hoping I can go to the great state of Washington this weekend and move him in, but we don't have a lease, and the boys haven't agreed where they want to move. We all have our challenges, and support is critical. And so what I would like to mention as I think about the ways that we appreciate our partnership, we want to support our partnership with the great Coalition for the Homeless here in Colorado, is the support that we've provided to this project. Because ultimately, it's about the people that we are collectively trying to house. Support is critical in all of our lives. So with that, we provided a performance loan to help acquire this building. We provided grant funds through HUD, through the federal government, to help support this project into the future. We're providing state resources through vouchers. So that, and what does that mean for folks in the audience? Some people know, some people don't. That means we pay a portion of the rent with state funds, and the tenants will pay what they can afford based on their income. And what's critical with that? Support. We're also providing tenancy support services partnered with those vouchers in order to provide the support that folks need to stay stably housed. We are committed with CCH to the success of this project and committed to working with the people that are served by this property. With that, I want to be reminded of housing is a human right. But in order for people to take advantage of this, they need the support. So thank you. And thank you for everyone that's come together to help make this possible.
And the cookies are available for... I met our next speaker as he became the chair of the Housing Stability Strategic Advisors when I was at the Department of Housing Stability in Denver. And as a member of Denver City Council, he has shown steadfast support for bringing affordable housing to his district. For this project, he championed a rezoning through the city's process to allow this conversion from hotel to apartment to become a reality. So please join me in thanking and welcoming Denver City Councilman from District 9, Darrell Watson.
Thank you so much, Britta and the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless team. I also want to thank the regional partners, state, federal, and county commissioners. As a city council member and county commissioner, I know the work that we do is always through collaboration. And our focus for making sure that we are supporting all of the communities that we serve, these solutions can only be done regionally. I'm honored to be the city council member representing all of the fine District 9. The second decision I made as a city council member was to accept and become the sponsor for Renewal Village. Why was that important? Why was that essential for me? I grew up in a family that faced housing instability. I had a sister that died unhoused on the streets. And as I ran for city council in every community, in every neighborhood that I visited, the foremost question that community members had for me is, what are you going to do to make sure we increase housing stability throughout the city for our families, so our families can live and love the city, live in a city that they love without the fear of becoming unsheltered. This is an important step for Colorado Coalition for the Homeless, but it's one step that we are taking in collaboration regionally and throughout the city and county of Denver. I want to thank each of the members of Colorado Coalition for the Homeless, all of the community partners that are here today that really are looking at the lives of each of the 215 individuals who are going to be impacted. Oftentimes we throw out numbers and they feel like simply digits, but each of those 250 folks, to me, are the faces of my sister, and the faces of many others that are struggling to live in this city. We have a great opportunity with many of the initiatives that we're taking. We have a great opportunity as a community to come together and to make a difference in this city, to change the face of how we tackle housing and housing policies. Renewal Village is one step, providing 60 years of deed-restricted, deeply supportive housing in this city is an amazing first step. And then focusing on net zero when it comes to our veterans, coming from a family of veterans, making sure in this year, as the administration and the city council has offered, that we will make sure that as of this year, that veterans living unsheltered on our streets end. And Renewal Village is one step of bringing us one step closer to that success. So I want to thank you all. I would like to thank Britta and her team for all the great work that you've done. And I appreciate working collaboratively with each of you and looking forward to moving on to the next project. Thank you.
Our next speaker knows that homelessness does not stop at county lines. Adams County has been championing regional solutions and believed in this unique cross-county collaboration by funding the acquisition of this building to the tune of $3.8 million from the American Rescue Plan allocation. So please join me in thanking and welcoming Adams County Commissioner Emma Pinter.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much. I'm much shorter than everyone else who spoke. I'm honored to be here. As was mentioned, I'm chair of the board of Adams County Commissioners. I'm Emma Pinter. I'm joined by my colleague, Lynn Baca, who's here today, and the whole commission supports the $3.8 million ARPA fund investment that we have made in this project. Thank you so much to everyone, and it's really beautiful to see this federal, state, and local collaboration across borders and across jurisdictional lines to make sure that we are serving community together and we're putting our money where our values are. This special project is right here at this intersection of highways, as well as Denver and Adams County, to make sure that we are serving our community together, because when our communities face homelessness, they don't necessarily check their zip code before they ask for help. And so this enables us to cooperate, to have success together. You know, my family, like many of the speakers before me, faced homelessness, and I didn't realize that we faced homelessness. I just knew as a child we didn't always have a home. And it wasn't until I was an elected official in a training to train elected officials about the impacts of homelessness, and they were going through the McKinney-Vento standards of homelessness, and it hit me like a ton of bricks that my family too had faced homelessness. And I remembered my mom carefully folding up her blankets so that no one knew she was sleeping on the couch, and that we had to move, and that our belongings were in the car. And it's really interesting all these years later to look back and have this moment where I can help and work with my colleagues and work across such a broad coalition to help that next family have that sense of stability. We know that for some the economy is roaring and they're doing great, and for others they are struggling and they're holding on with both hands to stability in their house. They're clinging with their fingernails to make sure that they're paying rent on time and they're covering their medical bills. We also know that from our street outreach team that point-in-time counts only catch a fraction of those facing homelessness. This investment is part of our collaboration across the region and with Denver. We expect that there will be about, on average, 20 rooms available for Adams County residents in need of transitional or supportive housing. And we're committed to working on projects like this into the future. Like Denver, our housing authority is running a supportive housing ballot measure this year. It will be a 0.15 sales tax with a 20-year sunset that would enable us to have, on average, $20 million available for reinvestment in community projects just like this to serve Adams County residents. I'm honored to be here, and more than anything, I'm honored to be part of this important team that's building a stable future for our residents. So thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing the personal story as well. Lived expertise is something that we really value at the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless, and we appreciate all those who have shared their personal stories. So at this time, I want to say thank you to our speakers and our many partners. It's so wonderful to look around this room, people I've been working with for sometimes decades, and see the support for this mission and for this project that we're celebrating today. I want to thank you for celebrating with us and supporting our work and our mission of lasting solutions. And in just a few minutes more, we will conclude and tours will be available. You'll head to the safety desk just across the lobby here, and there'll be staff who will lead you on the guided tours. Which brings me to our staff. It was 20 years ago this summer that I joined the staff of the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless. And we continue to attract some of the best, brightest, and most compassionate folks around to this mission. And I want to say a special thank you to several of our staff, including thank you to Brendan Taring, the Development Project Manager, for his dedication and commitment to making this project successful. Brendan, give a little wave. There you go. I also want to thank Max Labarsky, our Housing Development Director, for guiding us to success. And to both Brendan and Max for late nights, early mornings, sweat and tears that went into this building. And thank you to our Chief Real Estate Officer, Jennifer Cloud, as well, for guiding this team and building such a strong team. I also want to thank our team members working across departments: Deanne Witzke, V. Skiffer, AJ Preble, Daniel Sherrard, Todd Bertani, Aaron Crowder, and Will Davis for their leadership in planning to create community among a complex mix of transitional and PSH, or permanent supportive housing units. I also want to thank Jennifer Cloud, Lisa Thompson, and John Parvinsky for their vision and belief in this project and their passion in convincing our community to fund it. Thank you to all of those team members. There's also a lot of work that happens behind the scenes, and I want to thank our education and advocacy team led by Kathy Alderman, and to Alexis for the coordination of this event and the videos about this project for our residents and community. And I want to thank our board of 15 volunteers for your support of this missional work and for this project. I also want to thank our broader volunteer base for your commitment and hard work on this project, and to John Saint for organizing both our volunteers and the donations that resulted in move-in boxes with the goodies that help our residents enjoy their new home. Thank you. I want to thank John Uema and the entire Centerra construction crew, including Jack, John, Frank, and Mike, for the shared commitment in our mission, the countless hours poring over the details and finding solutions, and for creating new homes for hundreds of individuals. Thank you, Centerra. And thank you to Cole Gullett and Joe Marshall from Architectural Workshop for designing these beautiful spaces. Thank you so much. And finally, thank you to the whole village of people that it took to transform Renewal Village. As you tour today, a lot of the work done will not be visible, but behind the walls. Converting old hotels into housing is faster than new construction, but it is hard and it is expensive. And there is behind every wall a unique mystery. With the more that you dig, sometimes the more trouble you might find. But we found it, we took care of it, and we have learned from our past efforts, and we have put that into this building with infrastructure, plumbing, HVAC, life safety systems, IT, elevators, to ensure that we can keep this space beautiful and functional as homes for years. So let us go see this new residential community. Please head to the safety desk on the other side of the lobby, and our staff will begin the tours. Don't forget your cookies and food, because this is a home after all, and you are our guests. Enjoy, and thank you.